Karl Ludwig Sand was a German university student and member of a liberal Burschenschaft. He was executed in 1820 for the murder of the conservative dramatist August von Kotzebue the previous year in Mannheim. As a result of his execution, Sand became a martyr in the eyes of many German nationalists seeking the creation of a united German national state. Biography. Karl Ludwig Sand was born to Godfrey Christopher Sand and Dorothea Jane Wilhelmina Schapf on 5 October 1795. His siblings were George, Fritz, Caroline and Julia. Education. In 1804 he attended the Laytonschule in Wunsiedel, and in 1810 he moved on to the grammar school in Hof, living with the school's rector, Georg Heinrich Saalfrank, a friend of Sand's enlightened Protestant family. Following the closure of the Hof Gymnasium on the institution of Montgelas's reforms, Sand followed his teacher to the Neuss Gymnasium in Regensburg, completing his studies in September 1814. In November 1814 Sand matriculated at the University of Tübingen. In 1815, Sand volunteered under Major von Falkenhausen, participating in the Battle of Waterloo in June and in Paris by July. He returned from the war disillusioned with its results and fell into a deep depression. In 1816, while at the University of Erlangen, Sand formed Burschenschaft Teutonia with his friend Dietmar, meeting at castle ruins near Erlangen which they had named Rutli. They built a meeting house for the group of 80 students. Sand's depression was further intensified by the destruction of Rutli by the competing political group the Landmannschaft and the drowning death of Dietmar in 1817. Starting in 1817 he studied at the University of Jena, attending the lectures of Jacob Friedrich Fries, Heinrich Ludin and Lorenz Oken and joining further Burschenschaften. Sand was among the nationalist students who gathered at the 1817 Wartburg Festival, in which Kotzebue's History of the German Empires was one of the books ceremoniously burned. Murder of August von Kotzebue. Sand already contemplated the murder of August von Kotzebue in a diary entry of 5 May 1818. He called him a traitor to the nation and a deceiver of the people, and characterized him as an enemy of the Burschenschaft. On the morning of 23 March 1819, Sand, using the pseudonym Henry, visited Kotzebue in his Mannheim house, refused entry to the house and told to return in the afternoon. Sand returned just before 5 o'clock. Having exchanged just a few words with Kotzebue, Sand produced a dagger and with the words, "Here, you traitor to the fatherland," and stabbed him repeatedly in the chest. Surprised by Kotzebue's 4-year-old son witnessing the event from the nursery, Sand lost his wits and stabbed himself. Leaving the house, he handed a servant a piece of writing he had prepared, and stabbed himself again in the street. His suicide attempt failed, and he was taken to hospital. Aftermath. The Mannheim Hofgericht sentenced Sand to death on 5 May 1820. He was executed by beheading. Sand was beheaded by Franz Wilhelm Widmann, who was the executing official at the time. Sand's murder of Kotzebue was a catalyst for government restrictions on liberal and German nationalist thought. On 20 September 1819, Prince Clemens Wenzel von Metternich called a meeting of representatives from across the German Confederation to create the Karlsbad Decrees, which outlawed the Burschenschaften and put limits on freedom of the press and the rights of members of such organizations, banning them from public office, teaching or studying at universities. Alexandra Dumas Père wrote about Sand's life and published excerpts from his journals and letters in Karl Ludwig Sand, part of Celebrated Crimes. Prior to writing his story, Dumas visited Widmann's son in Mannheim in 1838 to gather information about Sand's this character. Alexander Pushkin also memorialized Sand in his poem about assassins entitled Kinzal. In Germany, 3 films have been made concerning the events of Karl Sand's life. Karl Sand in 1964, Sand in 1971, and Die Unbeddington in 2009. Writings: Gründung einer allgemeinen freien Burschenschaft, 1817. Deutsche Jugend und die Deutsche Menge, zum 18. October 1818. Todesstoß dem August von Kotzebue, 1818 19th, published posthumously.